Hey, welcome to Pankaja Ayurveda, and I'm very glad to be with you again. And today I want to share some thoughts about the current energies, planetary constellations, and the impact on us and the chances there. So it is a very thrilling situation this August, upcoming month, and we will start after prayers to Lord Ganesha. Gajananam Bhuta Ganadhi Sevitam Kapita Jambu Falasara Bhakshitam Umasutam Shoka Vinasha Karanam Namami Vigneshwara Parapankajam. Hari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome again. So, what is happening in this month of August in our life, in our surrounding, in our relationship, and in the world? So, I share some thoughts that I made after listening to also a lot of different Jyotish channels. So, I'm not an astrologer by any means. I just learned some very basics in my Ayurvedic education, and you can find many channels. I recommend, for example, the Punate astrology, which I love to listen to, and exotic astrology. So that's just two names to mention. And so let's dive just into how I can share my understanding on it, and especially what is it practical for us? What can we do with it? Or maybe we are not scientists, maybe we are not Jyotishis. We are just normal human beings, and we want to enjoy life and make the best out of every situation. And like all human and all beings, all sentient beings, we want to suffer less and love more. And so that's what I think all the different input is for, to make our life more happy, more joyful, more meaningful, and even in this difficult year, more than ever, to understand what is going on and not give up and not be too sad and too frustrated and by all the challenges, but take the chance. So it is the sun, basically, this planet, the king of all the planets, the sun, which relates to the soul, to the Atman, to our pure being, to the self, the soul level. So this sun has a major shift now on August 17th, next week. And it goes into Leo, into its own sign. So, and with the constellation of all the other planets around it, also Mars will be in its own sign in Aries. Jupiter is in Sagittarius since a while already, and then Mercury will also go into Leo, so he will be very close in the same sign with the Sun. So he will be a very good communicator to the Sun. So listen to any insights, any vocalization which come from inside you, and also which wants to be expressed, and be very careful that what you express is really from your soul level and not from ego level. So that's basically the main question. How I understand this this month August is, I would summarize: drop the ego, live the soul. So sounds very easy or very challenging, depending on how we look at it. So what does that mean, actually, drop the ego? I try to understand. So sometimes we think that's what we are, that's our personality, and also if we drop our ego, does that mean we don't do anything, any action, any work, any relations? No, no, no. Like Dr. Lad, my teacher, I have his voice in my head sometimes, so I hear no, 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 that's not it at all. So ego is in the way that it is needed in a healthy form, the ahankar in Sanskrit. Ahankara is the I former, the I maker, so the form giver also. So whatever being has to live in a body, it needs a form, and it needs also in a way to identify with that form, to sustain it, to care for it, because that's what we need. That's our vehicle. Often quoted that the body is the vehicle in which the soul travels through this incarnation to do its experiences according to our karma. And now we get to a very interesting aspect that many planets, 3 planets, and also Ketu, and the planets are against Sun, Mars, and Mercury. They are all together in a very special constellation right now according to their nakshatras, and that is called the Gandantapada. And I definitely don't know much about that. So again, please listen to other sources if you want to dive into that. I take from what is the meaning, the understanding for right now. And what I heard and learned is that this is ending of karmic knots. So really unfizzling deep, deep entanglements that we brought with us from former lives. So it's the prarabdha karma. That's the karma that is active in this life. We were born with it. We choose to be born with that part of karma. We have a huge field of karma through all different incarnations, which is called the sanchit karma, which is like the complete storehouse. I think Dr. Lad mentions this. Similarly, there is a storehouse of karma, and then for every birth, for every incarnation, we go there with a smaller or bigger backpack or trolley, luggage, whatever we choose, and we pack certain things in it. A good one, a bad one, a difficult one, a most challenging one, spiritual one, material one, relationship one, whatever we choose for this incarnation, and that's our prarabdha karma. And with this we are born. With this it is said we choose our parents. So always let's honor our parents. I start with that here again. All honor and gratitude and love to my parents and to everybody's parents. So we chose them. Whatever this means for you, whatever you learn, whatever you experience, you chose it and you grow and learn from it. You owe certain karmas to them. They owe certain karmas to you. It is a big interaction, interdependency between souls. So very, very important to never deeply hurt this karmic connections with your family. So this Gandantapada we go into with those 3 planets, and then Ketu, the northern knot of the moon, also in this Gandanta. It is said that this means like a huge transformation for even on the level of the whole world. So something will shift, and it may be really bright, it may be really fruitful, and maybe the effects will only be seen later on, not immediately, but we should focus on what happened in our lives, what happened in the world in these next upcoming few weeks. We already had quite adventurous weeks, I guess, at least I had, and people I connect with have. And one aspect was again for the sun, for the soul, that it was in Cancer before, it still is, and Cancer is a watery sign. And so we had to, I think I said in some former video on Gayatri mantra, how to practice the Gayatri mantra, which is very, very good to honor the soul. So maybe you want to listen back to those videos on Gayatri. And there I said that there is the soul has to go through a bathing and washing of the water first, because before it can fully shine. And now it is, so we may have faced some challenges on maybe even on a very deep feeling level, emotional level, self-esteem, doubts, fear, courage, sadness. A lot of these things may have been going on and will continue to, because that's the washing. When the washing happens with heat, we call it the roasting and toasting. Dr. Ladd calls it the karmic seeds are being roasted and toasted, and this will continue to happen. And in the water, it is washed. So both is needed, right? You need and also the water has some aspect of Agni. So Apo Agni is the transformative metabolic activity in the water even. So it's not that black and white. Very interesting. So our soul is basically washed and cleared. And this is not an easy process. And depending on also where your sun is placed. And if you run a sun Mahadasha, you may have the highest influence of that. And then also if sun is in the 1, 5 or 9 houses in this trident, then you may have a super strong influence now with sun in Leo. But it will have an impact on everybody, all of us. So the chances to really drop some part of old behaviors that don't serve you. So you may have had some clues in the last week what that is. You may have had some messages or messengers or messaging situations, or dreams, or something you read, something you were told and you didn't like, or you may have some input. So I guess we do know what is it in us that actually really needs to be let go. But we cling to it. It's just easier to stay with habits often than to really cut them through. But we do know. And if we don't know, inquire. Just sit still and ask, what is it? What is it? What doesn't serve me? What is it that hinders me to live a totally fulfilled life on all levels? That doesn't mean that there may be no problems. There will be, or challenges. This is part of life. But it means you don't experience a deep feeling of liveliness, a deep feeling of purpose. And then you go through whatever challenges there may be, right? So washing and roasting and toasting the sun, the soul. The sun is the king. If he is you can choose with the sun. You go either towards the ego, which is more the superficial level, the behaviors, the I, the me, the mine, like Dr. Ladd says. And you blame everything that you do on, I am like that, I am this and that ascendant, my moon is this and that, so I have to be like that. So you can do that. That is very much still ego level. Not to say that there is an influence if your moon is this and that and you're ascendant. But actually, I feel that often it is a purpose or a job that universe has created for you to actually face exactly that, not to excuse all your actions on your personality, but to look into your personality and see, why did I get this or choose this in this life? And how can I transform it to the best possible level? So either you choose the behavioral, the reacting rather than responding level, the ego level, or you choose the soul level, the self-realization level, to go to the roots of where this soul comes from. And that's, of course, it's a deep, deep process and a deep journey. And it starts every moment, and it is there every moment. And then there are distractions, and then there are some scars who pull you back into old behaviors. And all that is very natural and is part of life, of this life experience. Just starting to see that these are old habits pulling you and not what you freely choose with all your intelligence, rather than from automatism or subconscious reactions. So easy said than done, maybe. So see what resonates for you. As always, this is my very personal sharing from my heart. Any mistakes I make, any hurt I may create, I apologize. And I just wanted to give this information out in the way I feel it, because I feel it is super, super powerful. So be aware of illusion. I also learned that the Mars can bring up a lot of desires right now, which can distract you. And so check and prove everything that comes up for you on from which level does it come. Also, Rahu, of course, keeps on pulling us into illusions, and often tries to invite us to spots where he promises us the inner happiness, which very often then it is not there. So be super careful about illusions right now, false perception, and also false expectations in yourself, because this sun, this self-esteem, can also be distorted because it will be very strong now. So it can be distorted that you over acknowledge yourself too much. So like the opposite of low self-esteem is like a distorted self-esteem. So maybe something you do has a good resonance, and then you think you are the king. So you are not. The sun is, the soul is. You are not. I'm not. Nobody is, as far as I know. Though those really realized people, and luckily there are some even alive on the earth right now. And then of course all the souls that went the path before us, and that they still left their teachings and their lectures and their scriptures for us. So all this is there. And and then lastly, maybe even Saturn also, of course, still has his strong influence and retrograde influence. And so also there can be an illusion of enemies, that there's and very much doubt and very much skepticism. So nothing wrong with a healthy skeptical mind, but it can easily twist towards a too much of doubtfulness, skepticism, and the world situation can also encourage that, because there's so much fear going on and so much false information, and you don't know where to get the correct information. So be very, very careful with any kind of illusions and distractions, and go choose the bright side. There's the bright side of life. I think there is a song about that, a very famous song. So the sun, the soul, when it is washed out from ego more and more, it's a process, then it will fully shine, and then you will know your purpose, and you will do it, and you will be free from the fruit of your action, and you will do your action and not be attached to it. So I was speaking on the current energy situation, how I experience it, whatever I learn, I share with you. And I will maybe start with very short videos shortly, where I just give a short message of the day, or a very short practice, something we can do together. Because I tend to talk, if I start talking, very long, as you notice, if you're still here. And maybe what is needed is, okay, what to do? What now, right? And so let's be together in this search, in this journey, in this investigation. And if you like it, then just stay with me and give a comment if you have any wish or any correction to make. Then we all learn from each other. And thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. We have this method of sharing, and soon again also in person, wherever that is possible. So stay in touch, and all the best in this amazing time. Make the best out of this August 2020 to always always remember what twisted to the good in your life and in the whole world. Namaste. Be safe and healthy, and always full of trust that you are guided. Namaste.